as nurses, when you're working in the field, you don't have somebody over you telling you what to do. So you should be a person who can think on your feet, even if situation change and it's no longer like a textbook. Not everybody is able to find themselves out certain conditions. So the test is not designed for those individuals. It's designed specifically for people who is not going to kill someone. I have prevented doctors from making critical errors because they have to move faster than a nurse, and they have a lot of decisions that they have to make. After going through nursing school, first of all, my first semester was a nightmare in nursing school because nursing is like a foreign language. My first time attempting this test, I failed, even though my school thought I was most likely to succeed. After I failed, I literally appreciate failing.
Welcome, Dr. Pamela Manning, to the Creator Show by FreshLearn. Let me introduce you to our audience. Dr. Pamela Manning is a seasoned nursing professional and the founder of the NCLEX Clinic. She's turned her deep expertise into a thriving online education business. She helps nursing students pass one of the most critical exams of their careers, called the NCLEX. Dr. Pam, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dr. Pam, before we dive into your online clinic and what all you teach, could you tell us about your background in nursing? What's your story and what drives your passion for nursing?
So I've been a nurse now since 2009. I actually did not want to be a nurse because in my family we have a lot of nurses. So, when you're younger, you don't want to be like the other person. However, I was working for a large corporation and they started to outsource their product overseas because I live in America. And my position ended up also got cut. So at that time, I had to put myself on a waiting list for nursing. And it took 3 years for me to get into the program. And when I did get into the program, my first semester, I fell in love with nursing. Even though I didn't want to, I felt like I would die if I did not complete this program because nursing is very rigorous. And you have a lot of people start the program annually, but only a small amount finish. And even though the amount that completed the program, only every year they have like 33% of the students who actually made it to the testing site, they fail.
Okay. Oh,
So 33%. So it's a high percent failure rate. So I have worked in numerous aspects of nursing, but I've also been a professor for quite a few years. So I have been teaching other nurses not only with passing their board, but also in becoming nurse practitioners. For the audience, a lot of people may not know what a nurse practitioner is, but a nurse practitioner works along with a physician. So we can diagnose and treat a patient on our own totally. But in America, it all depends on the states that you live in. Like my state allow me to have my own private practice, which I do.
okay. Well, that was really interesting to hear directly from you, Dr. Pam. And just for people who don't know, people who are not in the medical field, could you also explain what the NCLEX is in terms of the exam?
So after you're going through all the nursing school, which usually take about 18 months, there's two categories. Actually, there's a LPN, which is a licensed practical nurse. So it's like a level down. And then there's the registered nurse, which they call a RN. So you'll hear the term LPN and RN. Both of them have to take this certification exam. It's a state board, so you have to sit for the exam. This exam is very rigorous, meaning you could prepare over and over. You could be a straight A student and you still may not be able to pass this exam. This exam is now a practical aspect of what you learn. So you could go and read, and it could be a photographic memory and still can fail the exam because you have to show them that you know how to apply it. Because as nurses, when you're working in the field, you don't have somebody over you telling you what to do. So you should be a person who can think on your feet even if situation change and it's no longer like a textbook aspect, you should still need to know how to navigate your way through and answer, like make the correct decisions. So the NCLEX is designed to see if you are able to think on your feet. So it's called critical thinking, which to me is like common sense. Not everybody is able to find themselves out certain conditions. So the test is not designed for those individual. It's designed specifically for people who is not going to kill someone. You're in a certain situation, you should be able to make your own decision to say, this is what I do. The textbook might tell me to do this, but when you have all different kind of things occurring at the same time, are you going to be able to utilize what you learned from class, put them together and make a sound decision in taking care of your patients? So that's the way the exam is designed.
Wow, that's interesting. I was reading this book called The Checklist Manifesto, and somewhere in the beginning of the book, have you read that book?
No.
Okay, so it's not about nursing or the medical practice, but I think the first chapter itself talks about um, how sometimes a nurse can prevent a doctor from making a grave and critical mistake. So while you were explaining about the practice part of the NCLEX exam, that just came back to me. Is that how it is? You're the right person to talk about it.
Yes, yes. So that is correct. It's funny that the book actually is not a help book, but yet it tells you that. So I have prevented doctors from making critical errors because, they have to move faster than a nurse and they have a lot of decisions that they have to make. But without nurses, I think more patient probably could have lost their lives because with nurses, you have to now know what they teach you as a nurse, but you also have to anticipate what the doctor's move's gonna be. So you have to learn at a higher level because you are learning like two different aspects. Teach the doctor care is different from a nursing care. So for in nursing, you have medical diagnosis, which is the doctors that create these medical diagnoses. I wouldn't say create it, but they will give a patient a medical diagnosis. But then in nursing, they have nursing diagnosis, which is a certain classification that comes according to a medical diagnosis. So when a patient get a medical diagnosis, the nurse now have to pull the correct nursing diagnosis, which in return will help to give this patient a positive outcome. So if you put a wrong nursing diagnosis with a medical diagnosis, the patient is not going to have a positive outcome. But a nurse, just because they have to be aware of the diagnosis that comes with certain disorders or with certain symptoms, we can anticipate if a doctor is providing the proper care to this individual. We may not know everything, but like in my form, I'll know more because I'm a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
That's something I didn't say, but I am also a nurse practitioner. So I did learn in the similar aspect as an MD, not as much time, so I won't be smart as an MD, but I can determine some of the things that an MD does because of my training and my experience.
Of course, of course. I remember, in fact, during the time of COVID years, one of my aunts is a nursing manager for a hospital. And because we did not have access, because all the doctors were certainly so busy attending to patients, we were actually consulting my aunt, who is a nursing manager, in place of doctors because we didn't have access to doctors. So and it
Which
worked
is
fine.
bad.
She always guided us correctly.
That is so bad because even though a nursing manager may have certain skills and certain knowledge, some of the stuff is like going on Google to treat yourself.
I know, I understand. But it was like they say, necessity is the mother of invention. That was the so a lot of people were so desperate they just wanted to talk to somebody from the medical field and understand what's happening and what they should be
Exactly.
doing. Yeah. So did you also like see this gap, Dr. Pam, that inspired you to start the NCLEX Clinic? Why exactly did you feel that nurses needed your help?
So, after going through nursing school, first of all, my first semester was a nightmare in nursing school because nursing is like a foreign language. It's a total different way of thinking. So it was very difficult going through nursing school. You have to change your mindset. You have to think different. And first of all, in my days when I went to nursing school, we weren't allowed to work while we in school. Now, cost of living is so high, students has to work. So it's even more difficult for them to prepare. I recall studying hours a day from the moment I woke up all the way till late in the night. And I had kids at the time, so I would send them to daycare like 6:30 in the morning, and then I'll pick them up at 4:30 in the evening. But I get up 2 hours before I get them ready for school and I study. Then I take them, drop them off. This was post school, by the way. I would drop them off, and after dropping them off, I still got to study, and I study until they come up. I pick them up. But yet, when you go for the NCLEX, it feels as if you never even prepared. So for me, my first time attempting this test, I failed. Even though my school thought I was most likely to succeed, I failed. It was no fault of my own because I really are a good test taker. Like I study really hard and I don't procrastinate, which with this test, you're not allowed to procrastinate because it's just too much. But at the time when I went to take the test, it was after post 9/11 with the World Trade Center. When they bombed the Trade Center, it was post that. So they designed different tests to say if there's a disaster out in the field, how do you care for this? Like how do you account for the influx of people that's going to come into the hospital? At that time, our school didn't prepare us for those things because we didn't have like this major disaster. So now when we went for the test, my test was like total disaster questions. And I recall saying, now how would I know? That's what I would say when I was answering the questions. But after I failed, I literally appreciate failing because the knowledge that I gained when I failed was more than I did when I first attempted the test because I really invested more time and resources to prepare. I call myself a professional test taker, which during this time, God gave me like the strategies that I need to help someone in developing critical thinking skills, which is what's helping the students right now. So I wanted to become that vessel, not at the time when I failed, because when I failed, I was saying, why me, Lord? Why I had to fail? I help all these people and they pass and I didn't. But now, years later, this was 2009. So years later, I realized my failure was a means to help somebody else. Because if I didn't, I probably would not have developed NCLEX Clinic. So yes, I am here out of a product of failure, which I do not regret. I actually embrace failures now because my failures is designed now, I realize, to help others.
Oh, that's beautiful. In fact, I think it's beautiful and validated by the Florida Board of Nursing, no less, which is a huge mark of credibility. Can you talk about the significance of that approval and what it means for your students?
The certification?
Yes.
Okay, so I got Florida certified because I, first of all, to have that distinction, more people will see the credibility. You have to go through rigorous steps to make sure that your program is um, rigorous enough to help them to pass. Because you could have a regular NCLEX program that don't go through any rigor and they will take the student's money and the student will go and try to take the test and still not able to pass because they were never given the correct information they need, the tools to pass. So it took me, I was trying to actually do it for about 3 years and I could not qualify because the stuff that they require. And when I finally got to submit, because you can't even submit because you're missing this and you're missing that. Finally, when I submit, I only needed to correct two things. And it was so simple that
Okay.
I knew I got it because I was like, yes. Like it was something like, oh, you need your this license, meaning I just need to go into my email and forward my license. It was something simple because it took so long for me to clear all the other check marks that this certification means a whole lot to have because it's not that many schools or too many programs out there that have it. And I have it now for a few years.
That's really something, of course. And is that your secret, or is that something that you call your Dr. Pam method? Because you are also proud of having a very high success rate for your students, which is unusual because of how difficult uh, inherently this work is. Can you talk to us about what is it that you do so differently and how you ensure that your students succeed?
So, without giving away secrets, like I mentioned to you, my product came literally from the Almighty. I know God gave me this because I didn't have it while I was in schools. I believe because I failed that the purpose of my calling was to help others out there because my program is different from everybody else. I can back that. I've been through programs, I've sent like students been there, tell me about it, stuff like that. There's nothing like it. What set me apart is, as I mentioned, you will teach a student in class the content. You will put them into clinical settings so they could do application, but you are limited because there's only a certain amount of hours the students is given. And even with training, it's still not the same for some people because you have right brainers and you have left brainers. So they both learn differently. Some it's photographic memory and some isn't. Just like I say, some people don't have common sense, but does that mean they're stupid? No, they're just not able to see certain things like the others. With nursing, now you need to bridge the gap. You need to take what you learn in the classroom and now you need to transcribe it into practice. Like you need to now do it properly into practice because now in school they're going to give you the real perfect world scenario. They're going to tell you like, okay, so sick patient, but okay, in the real life, they never told you in the book that this sick patient has an IV pump on this side and a Foley catheter and all different tubes coming out of them. In the textbook, it doesn't give you that. It just gives you one sick person, no other aspect. So you need to know how to respond when all this is going on. That's called critical thinking. So with my strategies, what it does, because the people who pass in, is not a lot of them out there that, because you have to have memory plus the critical thinking. So the ones who pass in on the first shot, they're probably a photographic memory. So they got the content and then they probably already know how to think critically. So the ones like the right brainers, they read something over and over. They highlight it. Sometimes you look at students' books, they got like 10 highlighters. They got stickies sticking on the side of their book. Notes, their pages look like it's been through war and back. And yet, when they go to take the test, they read the question and they're like, I know it. I know it. Where is it come? It's not coming. It's there, but it's not coming out. So I teach students to picture it. Picture what you're doing. Picture yourself beside the patient in the hospital. Stop think about you being a student and think about you being the actual nurse taking care of your patient. Because if you are actually taking care of that patient at the bedside and not in the textbook or at the computer screen, you're more likely to make the right move. So my strategy is what I do. I sit on a live camera like this. Well, I don't do it anymore. I trained nurses to teach, master's prepared nurse to teach for me now, and they have to follow everything that I've teach them because I put them through it as well. So I I have on the camera like this and I feed them. This is after evaluating them. This is after giving them my strategy on how to answer the nursing question. Now we are actually practicing it. I give them a question, a nursing question. Every single student has to follow this, 5 to 6 steps, because it forced them to think. They cannot get rid of an answer choice without telling me why. They cannot keep an answer choice without telling me why. Because I help them to improve their rationale. Because when you know why you're making a choice, you ain't gonna make the wrong choice. So I can give out my steps. If I would explain, and you will see why it's so critical and important that a student know this. Usually when a student comes through my program, when they go out there and work in the field, people see them differently because now they're thinking just like a teacher. If you were to be in a classroom and you listening to a teacher teach a presentation to you, a topic, and this teacher is not putting in any experience from the field, it's the most boring classroom. But when you have a teacher that is now bringing in their real life experience into it and giving you example, you are able to picture what they're talking about. And you are more likely to grasp the content and the practical aspect because you're not physically doing it at the moment. You're just listening and seeing the teacher in front of you. But if I tell you a story about how I'm hanging a high V bag and I'm picturing it and shaping the frame with you, you're now picturing the IV bag and you're watching every step of the way. But if I'm just saying, oh, I have an IV bag with this medication in it going at this rate, you're not picturing it. So because my program now helps somebody to picture it, they're more likely to pass.
Of course. And that sounds very smart and sensible as well, but it also sounds very complex to me, especially especially because of course I'm not from the medical field, but I'm sure that even those who are would appreciate the kind of complexity and the kind of mix of services that your clinic offers. On FreshLearn, we see that you have readiness assessments, you have life coaching, you have so many different kinds of ways that you're teaching students. How do you make these decisions? Do you tailor them based on any textbook definitions or requirements, or do you tailor these courses to meet the needs of students as you've realized?
I don't make a program because of just the student. So when you're a good nurse or you were a good student and learned everything you were supposed to in school, you already have an idea of how nursing works. So for instance, on my website, I offer continuing education units, CEUs, right? I had to go through the Department of Health, Florida Board of Nursing as well. And I had to apply for that and I have to go through rigor as well. They have to look at your qualification. And because I have a doctorate and a master's in nursing education, I am qualified because they know I went through all those necessary training. They don't necessarily look at your background, but for me, I like to be well rounded because I'm just naturally a person who aspire to help others. So I always make myself know more than the average person. So for instance, when I got out of nursing school, I worked in different area aspect in the hospital. I didn't just stay in one area of nursing. Some people will stay one job for the rest of their life. I changed job mainly because I need to understand the full aspect of it. Because if I only work on the heart, I'm not going to know how the stomach work. So I took jobs in different areas, different roles in not just the hospital, but even outside of the hospital to help myself become more rounded. So on my website, I not only offer just one thing. First of all, I am a leader. I've been a manager, supervisor in numerous aspects of my life. From every time I get a job within 6 months, they promoted me. I'm just a natural leader. So I am known in the community as somebody that a go-to person. So people come to me to ask a lot of questions. Naturally, I am gifted in those areas. So some people you have to train them to become something. I do not have to go through training. I now enrolled myself in a master's degree again, even though I have a doctorate, because it's an MBA, because I'm a multi-business owner. And I want to make sure that the way that I am doing business is the correct way. Because even though I believe I know it, where's my proof that I am doing it the right way? Yes, it may be successful, but is it the proof? Is it what textbooks say that you're supposed to do it? So right now, I am almost completing a MBA with a project management concentration. So not only I'm going to have an MBA, I'm also going to have a project management behind my name as well. And I did that just because I own a few businesses, not just NCLEX Clinic, and they're successful businesses, but having the tool to say that, yes, I did get training on it, it's almost like getting another notch on your belt. You know what you're doing is really the right way to do it. So, yes, so the programs are there. I am certified to write my own class. I can literally create a class and it get approved to give you CEUs because of my training in universities.
That sounds even more complex, but also very, very impressive. Touching then a bit more on the business aspect of it. With such incredible expertise, why did you decide to take this business online instead of having an offline academy?
Good questions. Initially, I started this program inside of a school. I was testing it, to be honest with you. Not testing it to go online or do it elsewhere because I loved where I was teaching. It's just my role. I was in a leadership role. I was responsible for all the students that was going to go to tests. Plus, I was teaching class at the same time, and my role was very rigorous, like intense. I just had no time to breathe. And I was in charge of individual students, and there was 170 nursing students in this program. If any of them fail any type of exams, they have to come to me, and I have to give them a IEP, which is an individual education plan, to help them to improve their grade by the next exam. It was impossible to see so many students at the same time. So what I did, I started on campus 3 times a week. I bring students into a classroom like this and I teach them as a group. Just the way that my online is designed, I did that in person, and I did that for at least a year and a half. These students, it was proven so much that these students will fail, be doing crappy. They come into this program, and when they go and take the next exam, their score drastically improve. So when I did this, I learned that this strategy really truly worked. The school was in Florida where we live. The schools, if you drop a certain percent below the national passing rate, they will shut the schools down.
Oh.
This school was literally on probation. When I started this program, the school got off probation. They give them 2 years to get off probation. They got off probation. I helped all these students. I left the school, and within a year later, I heard they were back on probation.
Okay.
I took the program online because I was on Facebook one day, and I was a part of a large nursing organization, and I saw a student posted that they failed the NCLEX. And the compassion in me jumped out and said, Lord, this girl is brave to tell the whole world that she failed. Let me comment that I could help her. And I commented, I can help you. Did not know him, because I was new on Facebook, not so great with it. This, it was 56 people inboxed me that night to tell me
Wow.
they need my help. I was shocked. I was saying to my husband back then, who is an IT person, I was like, babe, I have no idea what to do with all these people remotely. I remember creating a group. I'm not a Facebook junkie. I'm not going to sit there every day posting and stuff. I try it. I can't do it. I suck at it. But I did it at the moment. And all these people came into it. And I remember they have this thing called 1-800-freeconferencecall.com. I remember at the time I signed up for that, and we call each other and we go on free Zoom, or was it the conference thing? It was whatever it was. It only give you 40 minutes. And we would go on it and it would kick us off at 40 minutes.
Yes.
I am just telling you, I came from an humble beginning. I remember we would sit there. I had textbook in front of me, and the students, sometimes they on the phone, and we just worked together. And we did the 8-week plan. And only, how many of them? 8 of the students, or was it 10? I can't recall if it was 8 or 10 of those 56 students actually stick to the plan. Meaning they were with me every week, same time of week, working on the same crappy conference call thing. Thank God for that free product. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We did it. Those students went, and every last one passed. That was my first time engaging online as teaching, and it was very unorganized. We didn't know what we were doing. And now we took it to another level. And now it is very organized. It has structure to it, and the students love it.
Of course, of course. Which also brings me to this question about why FreshLearn. I'm sure you did your research and found a lot of different platforms, but why did you decide to use FreshLearn to help your students?
All right, so I did do the research. I did look through quite a few, and I recall, I'm not sure if I should say the other company name because I was with them for a while before I found you guys, but I didn't even find you guys. So I was with Thinkific. I didn't have any problem with Thinkific until they decide to raise their price. I love them, so I can't say not one thing negative because it was really a good platform to be on. But when you have a small business getting started, because that's really what that was, you have to watch money. And you can't tell when a student is going to join your program or not. So I start out, and I have no student. Student had to find me. So me paying a high monthly payment, that wasn't going to work for a small person like me. So I was very reluctant when FreshLearn inboxed me, and talking about their program, because first of all, I was like, who's these people? How they find me? Like, I am a smart cookie. I'm not going to fall for scam and stuff like that. And I was so negative, like, I would not believe this was real. They charging me this much. The price was good. I was like, oh, and they will set it up for me. You will move my content for me. This is great. So they moved my program over. They put you like in a grandfather thing at the time, because FreshLearn, I don't remember how long before that they had started, but it wasn't that long before. So they were pretty new at it too. So
Definitely.
it felt great to be one of the new person with them, because now I'm with y'all for a good little while. I don't even know how long, but I recall giving you guys pointers because, like I say, I'm an educator. I'm always seeing things. I'm a businesswoman. Like I'm gifted with telling people ideas of what they can do to improve their thing. Even if I don't have it myself, God download things in me to give you. So I remember when FreshLearn came, I was like, you guys, if you do this and if you do this, it could do this. I was just giving them all these ideas, and y'all were so good because the creators, they're like me, they're just eager to grow more and more. So every time they would develop something, they give it to you. So you have every ideas they give them, they don't just give it to me, they give it to all of the people who were on it. So I watched Fresh Run grow, and I'm very confident with what I'm seeing. I just have to give a big shout out to Raghu. If I'm pronouncing his name wrong, forgive me. He know who I am. But this guy, he is my I call him my tech support, even though he's not tech support, but he does it all. He have me on WhatsApp and I inbox him. I know they're on different time zone, but I still be inboxing him. Recently, I had to reach like tech support, and they were sending me a female. The language, you see, you speak excellent English, but the accent on some people is pretty hard to understand. So I had another lady. I was just missing Raghu. I was missing him because he communicates so well, just like you, and he listens to me. And I love that. So I'm saying this, and I'm not trying to sell. I'm not getting nothing out of this podcast. I just want to put that clear. I am a person who I will tell you if you're doing something wrong, and I will tell you if you're doing good. And for FreshLearn really have helped my classroom. It really helps me with growth. I am doing really well right now. There is things that I'm learning about the classroom that I am not utilizing, like the marketing aspect of it. I am crappy with marketing. I wish they would really have like marketers there to help you and not overcharged it like a lot of the marketers here in America. You can't even get them because they're overpriced. I said that to Ragu, even though the things that I'm trying to get is stuff that's in the classroom that I can do myself. I just didn't really spend the time to do it. So he kind of tell me that I can do some of it. I'm gonna try it. I haven't tried it for somebody who have not been doing marketing and still doing so well. That alone should tell you the product that I'm using. And I'm telling you, FreshLearn. I've already tell others about FreshLearn, and I haven't heard any complaint about it. I am planning to take my program to where I am cloning it and sell it to others. But before I do that, I want to redo my videos so that I'm not talking about me. So when somebody is listening to the program, they don't realize this person bought it from me. So I am going to be doing that, but I'm only going to be selling it on FreshLearn platform because of this simplicity, the ease to work with it. And I'm telling you, I tried other program. I had people since FreshLearn send me other program to say, "Oh, this is easy, this is doable," and I go on and I'm like, "Yeah, but no." And I've been talking too long. I would go on for
No,
days because when I like something, I'll just talk and talk and talk.
it's a pleasure and an honor, Dr. Pam. But let's go take one step back. And you said you're doing well, and we know you're doing well, and we're so proud that we are growing with you and you're growing with us. That's the ideal case scenario. In fact, when we talk to new people who have a little bit of the same doubts that you had, and they ask who are you, we always tell them this is not a platform that's built by engineers. It's a platform that's built by creators, right? Creators like Dr. Pam, who told us what to do, who told FreshLearn what to build and what to offer to creators, right? To help them do their business, right? So I still wanted to touch upon the harder aspect of taking your business online, and now you're doing well, but it was not always like that. How was it in the beginning? What were the fears and challenges that you had in trying to take this thing online and make it like a solid business?
So I don't approach things with fear. That's number one. I take the necessary step because, like I told you, failure is a way for me to help others. So I do not approach it in that manner. However, when I first started, remember I said I was on another platform. Um, I already had some students on the other platform. I wasn't making as much sale on that platform because of, again, you have to do some type of marketing, which I lack. On this platform, it's similar. You still got to do marketing in order for it to really grow. The fact that I became certified helped a lot. Now I'm getting myself on TikTok. So people are getting to know about you. So I would say the part of getting it set up is easiest. It's very easy. I didn't do nothing. FreshLearn did it for me. So that was easy. You now, if I'm speaking to somebody who's starting, I would say you have to brand yourself. Because even though I don't know branding, it's still a form of branding. I was a person that's always in the community. So I'm known, meaning the neighbors know who I am. I don't wait. I go and make things happen. I get connected with different organizations that may have the clients that I'm looking for. Not, I didn't do it at the time. I didn't know that I was branding myself. I was just doing it because I like to engage with people. Because I told you I'm limited with marketing. I'm not that marketer. But I was out there. So people know that I'm a genuine person. They know I'm not going to tell you a lie. They know who you are because people are not going to buy from you if they don't know who you are. So you need to go out there and don't think it's your friends going to be buying from you because they're the one that not going to support you. But if strangers see you all the time and they trust you, you have to develop trust. And if there's a certification that comes with your program, I'm talking not because I'm giving you a certification. I'm talking like, let's say there is a state certification. Go and get that one because credibility shows, especially the era that we are in right now. There's a lot of mistrust and misinformation. But when you get in a certification like I got from the Florida Board of Nursing, which is under Department of Health, they can't come at you and say you don't know what you're doing because it took rigor to get to it. So if your program that you're given have a level of certification that is not just a person like me who is a doctor creating the program and giving you a certificate, get it. Get it. Because credibility these days is what's gonna build trust. Another thing that I would suggest too is pre-recording yourself one time and sell it over and over is the best thing you could ever do. So money don't come right away unless you are in a group of organization that you have like a large follower. You have to start somewhere. I never gave up. I keep on pushing, and I certainly is not where I want to be right now. I would like to take this to where I'm saying I'm making multi-million because it's possible because there's companies out there that's selling who's good with marketing that is doing it. There's people on this platform using this platform that's doing it, but they also know marketing. If you don't know marketing, then you may find that you lag and it costs a lot to market. But I also know FreshLearn have something there that can help people. I just haven't tried it. But you may find that the resource is either here. I just haven't tried it yet, so I'm not going to speak on things that I do not know. And I hope that's answer the question that you're trying to get.
Definitely, definitely. And also a very inspiring answer for creators in not just the medical field but all fields. And that's exactly what I wanted from you is advice for creators across fields. And that was just awesome. So with your permission, Dr. Pam, I'll stop recording now and I hope that you enjoyed the conversation as much as I did.
I love it. I really enjoy this. And I'm actually blessed to see that I got invitation to be on a podcast with you guys. I've been on other podcasts. I would say this much. I'm also a published author. My doctorate dissertation, I published that, and I also wrote two nursing books, and I also wrote a book to help nurse practitioners open their own private practice. So I do not stop at just the little bit. And like I said in the last question that you asked, branding yourself is important, because me writing the book, right there, it shows credibility of who you are. So there's different things and I did self-publish, by the way, and my book is on Amazon. So there's things that you can do to make yourself seems more creditable. Not telling you to lie about who you are, but if you know you have something to bring to the table, I think you need to really sell it well. Like me, if I was a marketer, I know I would be like a multi-millionaire, because there's just so much positive things to me. There's so much things that I'm great at. I'm not just saying that, but I'd never have a marketer to come and say, let me, just like I look for people to coach or help to get to their next level. I am not where somebody find me who's good at marketing to say, okay, I am gonna market this woman because this woman got so much good that we can really gain um, money from. Okay, they can invest in me to get money because I am that good at what I do. So I am thinking that those people out there that is starting, if they could find themselves a team, because if you have a team, let's say 10 people, helping to share your content, helping to share whatever it is that you're selling, it will grow faster than mine, because you're looking at the founder, you're looking at the brains, you're looking at the marketer, you're looking at the teacher, you're looking at everything I have been doing myself up until last year. I finally hired and trained a teacher, because once you teach and record yourself, you don't have to physically do it all over. But we do have live class, and I was also teaching those live class. Now I do not. Now I travel and have fun and living my best life, which is what I want for you guys to do as well. You have to create a system that you are not the one sitting there all the time. Pre-record yourself is the best way to go. Have a product like FreshLearn to bring it to you is the best thing that I could ever do. And right now on Thursday, we're doing this podcast because I told them I gotta go. I just came back from China. I was there for 3 weeks. I was in Japan 4 weeks, so I was traveling for an entire month. And I literally came back in June. And Thursday, 2 days from now, I am heading back to China for 2.5 weeks. I only able to do this because of product like FreshLearn, because I took the time to grow this product that I am selling. So you guys can do that as well. I hope this
Yeah.
was really a blessing to you guys.
Really, really inspiring for all creators, I'm sure. And we would love to take this and help it reach as many people, as many creators as possible. Dr. Pam, it's been such a pleasure talking to you.